Good day. I'd like to share with you an encouraging story to me. Very encouraging, especially during this time of lockdown. Dr. Howard Wesley is a preacher that I love. And so one time he was preaching a series of sermons in another city. During the last evening of the time that he was there, his host organized a dinner with a few friends. And by the time they got to the restaurant, it was already 10 o'clock. He had a dilemma. The fact that he had a 6 o'clock flight in the morning the following day. And by the time he got back to the hotel room, after having a great time with his friends, it was already after 2 a.m. in the morning. And so he decided, no, instead of sleeping, I'd rather stay awake, because the driver who was going to take him to the airport the following morning was going to come at 4:30 the following morning, because he had a 5:30 flight. Decided to stay up and wait. Indeed, the driver came at 4:30, and with no traffic along the way, they made it to the airport. By 5 o'clock, he had booked and cleared the airport security and was sitting at his gate, waiting for the flight, which was going to take off at 6 o'clock. With an hour to spare, he did what his body really wanted to do, which was to sleep. He was tired. And he went into a deep sleep. And without knowing it, he was sleeping at the wrong gate. And so, at some point, they called his name, because he had already checked in, and they knew that he was somewhere in the terminal. But he was fast asleep. But fortunately, it so happened that a member of the church where he had preached was also catching another flight that morning. And so she heard them calling his name and saw him sleeping there. And she tapped him on his shoulder and called him to say, "Pastor, they are calling your name." He jumped up and fortunately managed to make it to the flight in time. And then as he sat there reflecting on this in the aeroplane, a thought occurred to him that said, you can be so exhausted by what lies behind you that you fail to hear someone call your name to move to your next destination. You can be so exhausted by what lies behind you that you fail to hear someone call your name to move on to your next destination. You can be so worn out by terrible experiences of life, tired by trials, fatigued by everything that is going through, frustrated by the lockdown restrictions. You can be so weary and feeling beaten. But my message to you today, don't allow exhaustion of what is happening now and what has happened in the past to close your eyes from here and your ears from hearing God calling you to move to your next destination. There's life after all of this. There is the future. Big opportunities out there. And God is calling you now and saying to you, don't allow exhaustion. Don't allow depression. Don't allow disappointment and discouragement to close your ears and eyes from what God is preparing for you in the future. May God bless you.